Hello everybody, welcome back to Chiquel's YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and I'm here looking for all of my curly haired friends because today this one is for you. I have on my head right now Avalon by Estetica, and I've done a review on her already, but today I'm actually going to be showing you another wig called Finn by Estetica and showing you how it compares to Avalon. So stay tuned for that. Before I dive in, I just want to remind you to like this video and subscribe to my channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. I also wanted to let you know, in case you haven't seen already, that I have a giveaway going right now. It's currently November 14th, 2023. If you're watching this later, I'm sorry. But if you go back to the video I just posted before this one, you're gonna see that I have a giveaway going, so make sure you go back and see it. I'll put the link down below here as well so you can find it easier that way. And make sure you enter the giveaway that ends on Sunday, November 19th. Okay, let me get into this. So, as I mentioned before, I've already done a full-blown review on Avalon by Estetica. This is a wig I love. This is in a color called Mandarin Rooted. It's one of Estetica's newer red colors. It's such a beautiful copper tone color with roots. Very subtle rooting, which is amazing. I love the subtle rooting. So if you want to go back and check out this review, go ahead, click the link below in my description. I'll add it there so it's just quick and easy to get to. But I wanted to compare this to a wig called Finn, also by Estetica. I get a lot of questions asking how they are similar, how they are different, and how they compare. So today's the day. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on Avalon first before I show you Finn. So Avalon has a lace front, just a temple to temple lace front. We have a left monofilament part. So within about an inch space here, you can part her on the left-hand side of your head. So there's about an inch there. If you were to part her on the right, it's gonna look something like this. So here we have the lace front, but then it goes into just your wefting, and it does not give you a natural illusion of scalp. So you're gonna want to keep her on the left side. Avalon has a little bit of permatease in her as well. We got permatease throughout pretty much your whole cap. Yeah, it's pretty much everywhere. It's nice and pillowy and soft though. It's not insanely thick and dense. It's just nice and soft. Gives you an extra bit of volume. Avalon's made with synthetic fibers. It is about 10.5 inches at the front, and at the sides, it's 12.5 inches long from your crown. And then from your nape, right back here, it's about 9.5 inches long. So that's my really quick overview of Avalon. I absolutely adore her and her curl pattern. I love the density on this. It's about a medium density, I'd say, light to medium density, but the permatease in here is gonna give her all of that extra volume, making her feel like she's got a lot more hair. Also note that this cap, along with most Estetica caps, fits a little bit bigger than average. Okay, now that I've given you the rundown on Avalon, let me show you Finn. All right, here is Finn, and as you can see, she has got some really cutie patootie curls in her, just like Avalon does. However, I would say that Finn's curls are a little bit tighter, and there's a little bit more of them, mostly because this is a more dense wig. Okay, I am showing Finn here today in the color RTH6/28. So essentially what this is a medium brown color. You can see that true medium brown here with some sort of auburn, almost ginger highlighting throughout. It's a really nice mix of both colors, but you can see the two colors kind of intertwining within each other. But it is really nicely blended throughout the whole wig here. Okay, I'm gonna take off Avalon right now, show you the inside of her cap, and compare her to the inside of Finn's cap. So I was mentioning how Avalon has a lace front and a left monofilament part. Those are two really important things if you want your wig to have more of a natural looking effect, as if it were growing out of your own scalp and out of your own hairline at the front. If you don't have those, then it's not gonna look quite as natural. Avalon also has an open wefted cap. It's nice and stretchy. You can stick your fingers through it. It's breathable. Open wefting, or wefting in general, means that it's machine sewn into rows. So a machine made this as opposed to a human hand tying it. So it's machine sewn into rows. Those are the wefts. Stick your fingers through, ventilated, breathable, stretchy. Avalon also has they're not velvet, they're just sort of basic standard ear tabs with a standard extended nape and some hook adjusters here. So this is Avalon's cap. I'm gonna show you Finn's cap now, and there's a little bit of a difference in it. So let's start with the similarities. They both have open wefting. So they're both stretchy, ventilated, breathable, and sewn on into rows by a machine. This one also has standard basic ear tabs. They are constructed a little bit differently. Here you see Avalon's has that material over top, where Finn carries on with the wefting throughout the ear tabs. The nape is very much the same. It's just an extended standard nape. There's no velvet. Same with on Avalon. They also both have these hook adjusters. So that is also the same. Okay, now let me show you the main difference in this cap, which may make or break it for you. I don't know. Depends what you're into. So Finn does not have a left monofilament part like its little friend Avalon. See the differences here? So Avalon has this left part where you can see through to your scalp. Finn does not. This is called a permatease top. It's where all of the hair is basically, it's like a short-haired crimping effect at the root, which I'll show you in just a minute, that kind of disguises your scalp, disguises your part line, and just looks like a bunch of little hairs. So it does not give you the illusion of scalp within this section here. However, what it does have, which is really lovely, is a really deep lace front. You often don't get lace fronts that are this deep. So that gives you a really good chunk of a section here that you can see through to your scalp, and you can play around with the part line. Here on Avalon, you have all of that section here at the front, same width, but the depth isn't quite as far on this section here. So those are the main differences between the caps. They're very much the same, but the top of them is going to be what's a little bit different. Overall, I do find that Avalon is going to look a little bit more realistic because you have that part line that's visible. But let me put on Finn for you guys so you can see her. And we'll talk about the difference in the style, because you will notice a marked style difference here, even though it's also nice and curly with a very similar curl pattern. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at me and you're like, oh, wow, that's a lot more hair. And you're not wrong. You're gonna find that Finn is probably a little bit more dense than Avalon, not by much, but the biggest difference is in the permatease. So like I mentioned, Finn is gonna have this permatease top. So let me show you what that looks like. First, I'll show you that lace front. So the lace front is nice and deep, goes all the way to about here. And that's gonna give you the ability to part it anywhere you want within that lace section. However, past that lace section, here's where it transitions. I'll pull that back so you can see. That's where it transitions into the permatease top. Now you're not gonna see that necessarily because this is gonna be over like that and it's all gonna blend in. But you are gonna see that within the part line here because there is no part line, if that makes sense. You can't see through to scalp. What you see is that little short crimped hair effect right at the root. So unfortunately, you're not gonna get a part line beyond this lace. Whereas on Avalon, you do get that part line when you part it on your left-hand side. See how it goes all the way back? You can see my fingers underneath. So I find that with Avalon, that's a pro. Having that, it's not as great when you don't have it. But a good thing is that it means the cost is lower on Finn because you don't have that hand-tied portion of that lace monofilament material. Okay, let's get back to the permatease. So the permatease, of course, is on the top, and we have a lot of permatease on the top of Finn. Whereas on Avalon, you're not gonna find as much permatease on the top because you do have that monofilament section there, and there's not as much on the right-hand side as there is on Finn. So you're gonna get extra volume on the top of this piece. You're also gonna get a little bit more permatease at the crown on Finn and at the sides. However, one of the differences, Finn does not have permatease around sort of the bottom half of the wig, whereas Avalon has permatease all over the place. So you're gonna almost find that it gives Finn a little bit of a tapered look, if that makes sense. It's not as full at the bottom as it is at the top. So I will spin for you guys so we can see. So we're gonna have a lot more hair on top than it feels like there is on the bottom. Okay, another reason you're gonna feel like there's more hair on the top than the bottom is because Finn is gonna have a lot more layering in it. Avalon doesn't have a ton of layering. Finn has some shorter layers. So when you get up to this point, that's when the layers sort of taper off, which makes it thinner at the bottom, more hair on the top. So you're gonna have all this layering that adds to this fluffy, voluminous experience up here on the top of your head. Whoa. Okay, and with that layering, you will find too that it almost gives this sort of side swept effect if you were to part it on your left side or on your right side. It's gonna give you a little bit of a side fringe look. Clearly, I have not trained it to part to the right yet, so it's looking a little funky. Just know that it will come as a left parted piece, but you can play with the parting and you might need a little bit of heat from your hands to help train it in the way that you want it to go. But with Finn, you are gonna have this shorter layer in the front that gives you a little bit of that side swept look. Whereas on Avalon, I'm gonna go ahead and put Avalon back on so you can see the difference in the style. So like I said, layers, permatease on top, side swept look here, less volume on the bottom because there's also no permatease at the bottom. Whereas Avalon has less permatease on top. Permatease though throughout the whole cap, giving it more of an all over volume. Less layering, and by less I mean like almost none. It's very much similar lengths all throughout Avalon. So overall, it gives it more of an even look. Not as big on top, not as tapered at the bottom, more even look. And while I'm here, let me just show you that part line. So some people really want to make sure they have this part line all the way to the back here, all the way to your crown. So if you want that, then Avalon's probably your choice. But if you are someone who loves the big hair, loves the volume, and you miss that look of having all of that, then Finn might be your option. Let me give you a close-up of Finn's lace front. I mention this often, but if you have a darker wig, you're gonna see the knots on that lace. It's just kind of inevitable. There are brands, of course, that have smaller knotting than other brands. This one, I find Estetica does a pretty good job of their knots. They are not huge, but like I said, you're still gonna see that knotting. If that's something that really bothers you, then you could definitely try dabbing a little bit of powdered makeup in here to help blur your knots a little bit. Or you could go the more lighter route and get a lighter colored piece, because the lighter the knots are, the less visible they're gonna be. Overall, the cap sizes of both of these are very similar. I mentioned earlier in the video that Estetica generally runs a little bit bigger than average, and that is true for both Avalon and Finn. So me as a petite size, I have to put these adjusters in all the way. I would even crisscross them in the back at the nape to make it even tighter. Currently on Avalon, I just have them at the tightest they can go, but I think I would crisscross them just to make it fit tighter. However, that being said, that only adjusts your circumference, of course. For someone like me who is petite in the rest of my head, I still have a little bit of extra cap and bulkiness here. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for someone who is a petite size, unless you're okay with having that bulk. This would be fine for average, it would be fine for average large, and I think this would even fit up to a large, especially within your circumference. If you're a 23, even 24 inch circumference, you can totally fit into here. Lots of space. Okay, so I was mentioning earlier how Finn, since it does have a permatease top and not this monofilament part here, where this is hand tied at the top, it's gonna be less expensive. So the price difference isn't huge since overall the cap and the length of these are very much the same. The only difference really being within that permatease top. So the price difference is really only about $30 difference, but that could be a big difference for somebody. And overall the lengths on these are pretty similar. Of course, we're gonna find a shorter length in the front. Finn is gonna run about 8.5 inches in the front. But the rest of the wig on the sides, we have up to 9 inches. The crown, we have up to 9 inches. And from the nape, we also have 9 inches, whereas on Avalon, it went 9.5 inches. So really very similar in length. Curl pattern, also very similar in terms of the pattern it has, but with the layering on Finn, it's gonna just make it look like there's more curls in it. So Avalon will look a little bit more relaxed, especially because you can see here on Avalon, the curls kind of start midway until we start seeing the actual curls. Whereas on Finn, because we have these shorter layers, we're gonna find the curling to start a little bit sooner up, which also then adds to the extra volume on top. All right, I think that's pretty much all I have to share about the differences and similarities between Finn and Avalon, but I'd love to know which one you think you would prefer. Are you Team Finn or are you Team Avalon? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if these are pieces that you're interested in, make sure you go and check them out at our websites. You can find us at chiquel.com, chiquel.ca if you're in Canada, or chiquel.com.au if you are in Australia. But for now, I am going to skedaddle out of here, let you guys enjoy your day. Thank you so much for watching. And oh, don't forget to enter that giveaway from the last video that I posted below here so you can go back and check it out, ending on November 19th. All right, okay, I'm gonna go. Bye, everybody.